So where did it all begin for you?
Well, both art and music from as long as I can remember. I don't remember a start of it at all, just remember always drawing. Always making things as well, making toys when I was a kid. But didn't really start painting. No, didn't start painting professionally till I was about 30. But at the same time, art was always very much a part of what was going on.
We decided to interview Ronnie Moore, who was very helpful in her life as an artist and musician, because she's had quite an extraordinary life.
My mother used to draw a lot as well.
So were you always encouraged with drawing?
Very much at home, not at school at all. I remember being very frustrated, even at primary school, that all the books were full of words and pictures. I wanted blank books that I could make my own stories and draw my own pictures on. And, I liked reading and looking at pictures as well, but I really would have loved if we'd had some blank books as well with no lines or anything on them. Yeah.
And was it art or music that came first?
I suppose music. My father was a musician. He was a blues musician. He played harmonica in a band in New York, and so the house was always full of music. And so, yeah, but so was drawing. My mother used to draw a lot. I had no thought whatsoever of making a career out of art. Never thought I could. Never in a million years thought I could. And when we moved to Kildare for a while, myself and my husband, there was an art group, just an amateur art group, and I joined that group, and they had an exhibition. And then 3 of us used to paint more than the rest, and I was just literally starting painting, because even though I used to draw, I never painted as such. And I had an exhibition then with 3 of the members, and I think I sold 22 out of 23 paintings on the opening night, and they were really the first paintings that I had ever really done as such, apart from just drawing and sketching and that sort of thing. So that was really encouraging. I remember I brought all the money that I made from it. I remember I got my husband a ring, and I got it carved. There was a really good engraver in Dublin at the time, and I got something engraved in it for him. I always remember that, because I remember thinking no matter how much I needed the money, I wanted something for that first exhibition, something permanent to have. Yeah.
So would you say creativity could be taught when you're young or when you're older, if it is kind of...
Yeah, but I would keep it wordless. I would use as few words as possible. Just do it and show it. And when words come into it, it gets back into that evaluative kind of situation. The one thing I love is, that exercise, it's a drawing by Picasso. It's just a line drawing, and you turn it upside down and you give it to somebody and ask them to draw it, but don't let them turn it right side around. And all of a sudden everybody can do a really, really good drawing. But if you turned it around the right way, they can't, because they'd be using the left side of their brain, which is all full of the laws and rules and regulations. But if you turn it upside down, the left side of the brain can't make head nor tail of it, so it kind of switches off, and the right side takes over, which is just simply seeing what's there and taking things as they are. It's a really, really good exercise, that.
I suppose there's a respect level that isn't there for artists that are there for people in business. It is a very small community of people who do respect artists. Even in schools, I think.
Children are all explorers and they're all artists. And then they go to school, and then that's where they learn to be wrong. There's a judgment put on things, and you're wrong. And so very often when kids learn about being wrong, they switch off. It creates a fear in them and a nervousness and a self-consciousness, and they no longer explore things in the same way. I think everybody can be creative, because creativity is just problem solving, really, and observation and that kind of thing, and relating one thing to another. But people that have had a lot of negativity and kind of a punitive attitude to what they're doing, that gets switched off. With something like creativity, you're learning all the time from people, and very often, recently, just a couple of weeks ago, one of the students brought in this thing of Zentangles. I'd never seen Zentangles before. I do a lot of doodling and always did, but Zentangles are kind of a mindful doodling. You're sort of switching off completely, and it's you don't draw any particular form. You just use little shapes and things like that. And a lot of the students have reported great relaxation effects and all of that. I've one woman now who suffered a bit of anxiety, and she actually carries little notelets in her bag now with a pen, so that if she's in a doctor's office or anywhere, she'll do the little Zen tangle. It's like little doodles, really. But it's been shown it brings down your blood pressure. And
got really emotional. I was behind the camera because it was all we were trying to focus on her, and it was emotional. I was behind the camera swaying and just looking out at this beautiful view, listening to her sing. It was ideal.
I suppose a lot of the songs I write are like a little charm bracelet, in a sense, of little mementos along the way. When my daughter went to the Deb's dance, I remember writing a song about that. And certainly after my husband died, I did, eventually write some song that would be evocative of some of the thoughts that were going on in my head then. So yeah, I paint a lot down around the Dingle Peninsula as well, and I love down around the beehive huts, and it fascinates me that the whole landscape there has changed so little since the beehive huts in the 5th century were built, and since all that happened and that kind of thing. Sometimes when I'm sitting down there, I think of bits of songs and that as well, yeah. Every now and then I find my soul again, driving down the coast road, round the winding bends, to the oratories, to find some inspiration back through history and the stories that I read of the holy men praying, lost in emotion, here in the cold stony room, while the sun goes down on the ocean, red as a fuchsia in full bloom. Out across the sound, the sun's going down, throws a lonely shadow on the islands in the sea. Standing there, oh, I believe this is close to heaven as I'll ever be. And the holy men praying, lost in emotion, here in the cold stony room, while the sun goes down on the ocean, red as a fuchsia in full bloom. Driving down some motorway on a winter's day, it's all that I can do to get through the city noise. How I wish that I was back west of Dingle and the summer wind, carrying the voice of the holy men praying, lost in emotion, here in the cold stony room, while the sun goes down on the ocean, red as a fuchsia in full bloom, red as a fuchsia in full bloom. Thanks.